Too cheapy or not too cheapy? That is the question today. Let's get into it, guys. So guys, I want to thank you for being here at the scentitat channel. I want to thank you for, being here with me, enjoying this content, like, commenting, subscribing, all the wonderful things you guys do. I really appreciate you, and it feels almost like we're family. If you enjoy these videos, please feel free to comment and also to share the video. So let's get into it, guys. That question I proposed or suggested is a question that us in the fragrance community, us on our fragrance journey, you might just be starting or just have gotten into fragrances, and it's probably a question you have. I think we all have had that question at one point or another. There are so many fragrances out there, sometimes we feel like we want them all. I know that I have felt that way before. But of course, guys, we're sometimes limited by our budgets, how much, or even how much room we have in our house if it gets that extreme. But guys, I wanted to propose this video because I have some thoughts about the topic, and a lot of guys do talk about it, so let's get into it. Now guys, before I even start, I mean no disrespect to you if you're a collector or if you are a fan of cheapies. The argument can be made for cheapies, and that's really where I want to start. There are so many great fragrances that are forgotten, discontinued, or simply kind of pushed to the side. A lot of us in the fragrance world, or even really in just about any type of industry or commercialism, we want the new shiny object. We want the new thing. It's exciting to be the person to get the new item, to get the fragrance that it might be a little bit more unique because not many other people have it, so you get it first. I remember when Paco Rabanne 1 million, when it came out and it wasn't in America yet, it was so popular, in the UK and the rest of the world. There was people special ordering bottles and wearing it and getting really positive attention because it was even more of a powerhouse back then. And guys, it's real mass appealing. It really gets the job done especially before everybody had smelt it and everybody was wearing it. So guys, that's one of the things that can distract us. And one reason why there are so many cheapies out there. Another argument for cheapies is that sometimes we call them hidden gems, or some of the ones that are more undiscovered and fantastic quality, and sometimes they're worth more than they charge or how much we pay for them. One of the biggest examples I can think of is Midnight in Paris that happened recently. That is a fantastic fragrance for the most part, but it's a designer, and it really wasn't that popular when it was sold. Van Cleef & Arpels, the producer or the brand of the fragrance, still isn't as popular or well known in the US. I don't think they had an awful lot of distribution, and not a lot of people had embraced more artistic fragrances perhaps, especially in the mainstream, and it had a little bit of powderiness. So guys, at one point you could find Midnight in Paris, the EDP even, for about $15 at discounters, and you could buy as much as you wanted. So as it got promoted over time, that fragrance, the price went up as the supply went down and the demand shot up because so many people recommended it and talked about it and loved it because it was really undervalued for what it was. That's one of the great arguments that we can make for cheapies. But what are some of the arguments against cheapies? Well, again, when we talked about our limitations of our budget or even our house, cheapies can get overwhelming. We can have redundant purchases, which is maybe the strongest argument against cheapies. And another argument against cheapies is because they're discontinued or they're not sold in stores as often. We often have to blind buy them off the recommendations of a YouTuber or somebody else out there, and or even somebody we smelled it off their skin. And of course we know that our skin chemistry and many other factors, like I talked about in one of my most recent videos, it can really change how a fragrance smells and comes across off of us. So It's a big topic. I personally am not a collector. I don't lean that way. You've seen my collections in some of my earlier videos, and I only have about 50 bottles or so, but I have lots of little decants, and I have lots of little samples that I try out all the time, and I smell fragrances from other people's collections whenever I can. And I try to go to malls or shopping centers that have fragrances too. So I'm not going to argue against cheapies or for cheapies. I'm going to suggest that there are good fragrances out there that are undervalued, and I've made some affordable fragrance lists before, and certainly from discounters there are wonderful fragrances out there. But I do just give a little bit of warning that if you do blind buy a lot, especially if you're new to fragrances, you're going to end up selling a lot of fragrances and perhaps losing a little bit of money. But again, some people like to do that. Some people say that's a part of the experience. You would have never gotten your nose on those fragrances any other way. So it's up to you. And I encourage you to, follow your nose, follow your passion. There are great fragrances out there. I'd almost encourage more people, especially if you're followed, or people like Jeremy Fragrance and other great YouTubers out there, just bought off their recommendations. I'd encourage you to start looking up notes, exploring Fragrantica, and getting your kind of own unique style and taste of fragrances in mind, so you yourself can start having fragrances that are more personal for you. Again, nothing is wrong with having Dior Sauvage. Nothing is wrong with having, Dolce & Gabbana The One or other mass appealing monsters. But it's good to be able to express yourself a little bit and have a fragrance for, just about every situation. Again, we're all in different walks of our fragrance life. Some of us have hundreds of bottles. Some of us have 5. Some of us, like me, have 50 or so. So guys, this has been a video that I hope is helpful and informative. I think this is a big topic of debate. I don't want to light any fires or throw any shade, if that's the term these days. But I do want to encourage you to learn about fragrances and join me on my fragrance journey here on YouTube, because that's what I'm here for, and I'm here to help you. So let's get to it, guys. Let's smell great and learn more about fragrances. Until next time, guys, I'll see you then. Bye.